We know that children do most of their learning during play, so it's critical for researchers, teachers, and families to observe children as they play to better understand what it is that they're learning. We also know that most of their play is done with toys. So since 2010, we've been conducting the TIMPANI Toy Study.
TIMPANI is an annual investigation of the impact of toys on children's play in classrooms. TIMPANI stands for Toys That Inspire Mindful Play and Nurture the Imagination.
For the past couple of years, we've been looking at how teachers introduce new play materials in their classrooms and how that affects children's play. So to continue with that, this year it was important to have toys that all had similar characteristics. So we chose 8 construction toys.
Construction play is a very, very important type of play that's found all over the world. It has to do with building things with small parts. It's just an important area of play that's never been investigated. One of the goals of the TIMPANI project is to engage undergraduate researchers in real-life studies with children. This year, we had 4 student researchers who collected data by recording children's play with toys and then actually did the coding and even the analysis of data that we had collected.
Every toy was placed in the classroom, 4 different classrooms.
And they were rotated every 2 weeks, and they were placed either on the carpet or on tables during center time.
Play was recorded for 30 minutes and during the free play center time, and the toys were recorded for 2 days, and we would watch both days of footage and review and code all the video.
We used the PQT instrument, which is the Play Quality with Toys instrument, in order to code their level of play.
We then calculated the average play scores for each toy and looked at whether there were significant differences across socioeconomic status, ethnicity, and gender. And then we analyzed the data to determine how well each toy inspired play across 4 broad categories.
So for thinking and learning, we were looking at if the child was curious, how engaged they were with the toy, what they would do to try to solve problems with the toy, decisions they would make while playing.
How intricate the problems were, how intricate the decisions were, how they explored the toy, the comments that they made about the toy, if there was a new concept that was stated.
This time, let's make a steady state.
The toy that scored highest on thinking and learning was Starflex.
The Starflex are star-shaped bendable pieces that have slits in the ends of each of them so they can connect together.
Children were curious about that and trying to problem solve in order to put it together. It was very open-ended, so the children had to think of different ways to use it.
At one point there was a race car and they drove it, they made a road for the race car. The child that made the race car needed to model how to make the race car to the other children.
Starflex was the highest scoring toy among Caucasian children and among children from higher socioeconomic status.
So for social interaction, we were looking for children working together, playing together either cooperatively or like associative or parallel play.
Whether they're engaging in solitary play or if they're engaging in more collaborative play with their peers. And we're also looking at the frequency of interactions with their peers as well.
Where's the brother? I'm doing a big tower.
We're looking at how they're interacting, how positive and negative these interactions are.
So the bottle clicks scored the highest in the social interaction area. The bottle clicks were bottle-shaped pieces that children can stack up or they can connect them side to side in a variety of different ways.
Getting more longer, Matthew.
You would see them working together trying to stack the bottle clicks as high as they could.
That was a huge problem that they had, how they were going to get high enough in order to stack them because the bottle clicks were higher than them, and there were times where they needed a lot of help and needed to interact with each other in order to stack the bottle clicks on such a high point.
The bottle clicks also inspired some really interesting play narratives.
Make Let's make the coolest guitar ever. Guitar.
I think it scored highest in this category because the children were able to share them and kind of collaborate and kind of discuss what they were building with their peers as they were playing with it.
Are you ready now? Say 1, 2, 3, let's stop. 1, 2, 3, let's stop.
Bottle Clicks was also the highest scoring toy among Latino children.
1, 2, 3, let's stop.
In the creativity and imagination subscale, we're looking for how creative the children are while they're playing with the toy. If they're using it in novel ways, if the children are transforming the toy into different things.
Lay down. Lay down. Are you open now? Lay down.
We were looking at how the children were able to express themselves through the toy when they were able to connect it to something from their home life. We also looked at the narrative that they made with the toys and how elaborate the narratives were.
So Starflex scored the highest in creativity and imagination. It's open-ended, so the children had to really come up with ways to transform the object into something else.
They kind of connected it in an intricate way that I thought was very outside the box, and it was very imaginative.
Oh, I'm Idea Hunter. What? Let's play Mater and Queen. Let's play Monster Truck and Queen and Monster Truck Mater. I'll be Monster Truck and Queen. And you be Monster Truck and Mater.
Interestingly, although the Starflex inspired really high-quality play, it was one of the toys that was played with the least frequently. Children just didn't choose to play with it as often as other toys.
You can make a bow with this. Hello? Bye.
So with verbalization, we were looking at how often the child talks with the toy. We're speaking about the toy, talking to others with the toy.
Let's go build a big cow fodder. Let's go build.
If they're engaging in reciprocal conversations and the amount and intensity of what they're saying as they're playing with the toy.
I made it. Good job, you made a tree.
Any utterances the children make with the toy, it could be comments about the toy, or it could just be noises that they make that are assisting them in a narrative.
Upside down. No.
So blocks scored the highest for verbalization. They were colorful table blocks.
They have triangular prisms, squares, rectangles, cylinders, semicircles.
I want to move out my house.
Children would talk to one another about what they made or work together to try to add on to what they made, so that required reciprocal conversations.
You did not make a door. Well, my house don't need a door. You think that's the right end.
They would kind of verbalize about the different shapes that they were seeing and kind of talk a lot with their peers as well as their teachers about what they're building.
We're making a big one. We're making a big house so you can live. This is my mom. Okay. This for some hay. Some hay. Oh, thank you.
Blocks inspired high-quality play for children of both low, middle, and high socioeconomic status.
The results this year were very close, probably the closest we've seen, with so many toys scoring at a very similar level. And that's really not surprising since they were all construction toys. But there was one toy that had slightly higher play scores than the others, and it had some other characteristics that set it apart. The 2018 Timpani toy is Bottle Clicks.
I'm making a microphone.
They inspired a great deal more social interaction. Children would often have to kind of help each other, one child studying the construction that was being built and the other adding new pieces. They also involved small parts so that children need to kind of coordinate their activities with peers as they're building with them.
And it also provided children the opportunity to express themselves open-endedly through object transformations and play narratives.
We saw so much social interaction with it and so much collaboration.
We're gonna crash, guys! No!
I think it also kind of elicited high quality play among different socioeconomic backgrounds as well as different genders and ethnicities.
They are very basic toys. We found that in other years, toys that are quite simple and basic and can be used in multiple ways do very, very well.
That may be why Bottle Clicks maintained children's interest over time. With many toys, we see high quality play the first day that it's in the classroom, but then the play quality wanes over time. But with Bottle Clicks, we actually saw an improvement in play quality the longer it was in the classroom. We're still looking at how those toy introductions are affecting children's play, and we hope to have interesting results on that next year. But in the meantime, this year's findings reiterate something we've learned in previous years. Every child responds differently to different toys, and it's crucial to be able to observe how children respond to the toys that are available to them so that you can understand if they're meeting their needs and inspiring high-quality play.
Simplistic toys, even though they might not look like they would engage the children, it can elicit a high quality play in the classroom.
You never know which toys are going to work best in terms of inspiring play. There needs to be some careful observation as you're looking at the effects of toys, as you're selecting toys for your classroom.
It shows that it's important to recognize that there are strengths and weaknesses for different toys, and you have to really try out a toy in the classroom before deciding whether or not it would be beneficial for the kids.
I think when we look at our data and socioeconomic status and ethnicity in relation to the toy scores, it really shows teachers that you need to have a variety of toys in order to elicit the best types of play in children of different backgrounds.
The other thing I would say is, once again, construction play toys, and in particular those that are somewhat simpler and more basic, tend to be pretty powerful in inspiring children's play.
Okay, this is your microphone. Take long, Hayden.